All right, we're back with another one, live and direct. It is me, Chico to the C, and the place to be, the BiggDoggChico, man. We got a good one for you. I told y'all, man, we got one of my favorite players coming in straight from California by way of Southern Utah University. We got his parents checking in, the hard-hitting safety from Colorado. That is Rodrick Ward. We got Big Rod in, Rod Sr. and Tanya Ward. I hope I said it right this time. I'm working on it, and they're going to correct me. Don't worry about it. But we in the building, man. We in the building live and direct. We have prime parents, and they're checking in all the way from California. How you guys doing? Thank you for joining me again.
We're just fine. Thanks for having us, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Rod is one of my favorite players. I had to say it off the top because, for one, he came in from Southern Utah, and my little cousin just finished up there. Akili Gray, he played there with Rod. And he
yeah. He at UNLV right now, right?
Exactly. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, I know Kelly, yeah.
He told me, he said, man, you should hit up Rod, man. Rod is a dog. This before the season. So Rod is a dog. Should hit him up for an interview. And so I checked him out again. I was like, man, that's the one. Oh, okay. If Cuz told me he's right, then I looked at the film. I know he's right. So shouts out on that one. I appreciate you guys joining me on this. Tell us about how you guys have been feeling watching him come alive these last, I'll say about 5 or 6 games. I think he's been really coming alive. 42 tackles, leading the defense along with Shiloh. How's it been watching him come along and doing what you know he can do out there on the field for Colorado?
Well, I mean, it's no surprise to me. The thing with Rod is I coached him for pretty much the majority of his life up until his senior year in high school. I stepped away. So I knew once he got the opportunity that he would make good on it, so I mean, I'm loving it. It seems like this season is just shooting by so fast. But as far as his, what he's doing, I'm proud of it. I'm not surprised. I'm loving it, and I honestly feel like he still hasn't quite hit his zone yet, But Rod's always put up numbers. He's always put up numbers. So I'm not surprised at all. And I'm proud of him. And I'm glad to see, him and Shiloh and the rest of the defense, kind of gelling and pulling things together. So I'm glad to see him back there, man.
Definitely. How's it been for you too, Mom?
To me, it's still kind of surreal. Watching him grow up and watching him play football, it's always been mind-wrecking to me as a parent of a child that plays football the way he was taught by his dad. So I've always been in my nervous corner, but he taught him as a child how to hit, how to get blocked, how to block, all that stuff. So it kind of made me feel a little bit better. But just seeing him with Coach Prime and the other players that he talked about before we even knew about Colorado. He watched the show, some show that they did. I'm sorry, I didn't watch the show, but they did a show and he would watch it and talk about it and talk about Shiloh and talk about Shador. And so he was really excited about the show, just about the show. So seeing him play at Colorado and having this opportunity, it's just like, it's so surreal to me. I'm still, they only got a few more games and I'm still like, is this real? Trying to pinch myself.
Right.
So, just being at the games, it's been awesome. I mean, win or lose, we're here to support. So I love my son. I love what he's doing. I love what Coach Prime's doing. So I'm sitting still loving it.
As like you mentioned, a few more games left. The next one coming up this weekend versus Arizona. How do you guys see them coming away getting the victory after just ending the losing streak and finding a way to get a victory? What do you think are the keys to victory?
Well, to be honest with you, my honest assessment when I first kind of looked at the team, went up and visited and was kind of watching the videos, tracking where the guys came in from, the different transfer portal individuals, athletes, I felt like that they could. My initial thought was 8-4, and then I said, well, 7-5, because a lot of people have to understand when you're rebuilding a program like that and you're coming from the portal, you have all that talent, there are some growing pains that are going to take place. But so I'm still good. We 4-5 right now, so we could pull those 3 off. So I'm definitely still in the good right now. So I said 8-4, 7-5. So I feel pretty solid about that. Like at any given time, those guys line it up, they can win if they just put it all together. I think we've all noticed if they can just put two halves together and, fix the little small things, that they have an opportunity to, I still believe that. I still see that with the team.
Right, exactly. They're like Coach Prime said, they're on the right trajectory. They're trending in the right place, especially as far as stats and all those takeaways and things of that nature. And like I said, those things really went on the uptick when Rod stepped in there and really started. You got two hard hitting safeties now with him and Steele back there.
Right,
that's
right.
For any team going against. So let's take a step back now. You talked about coaching him when he was younger and stuff. Let's talk about you guys' background. Where were you born and raised? And talk about a little bit of maybe some of your athletic background and what coming up in your early days.
Mom can talk about that because hers is gonna be short.
No, I played sports in high school. I was good in volleyball. Although I'm 5'1", I was pretty good. Contrary to popular belief, I did. I ran track. I did track.
I ain't seen no stats, but go ahead.
My sister was very good in track and volleyball and basketball. My sister was. So I think a lot of his athletic ability comes from this side of the family. But he was mostly the football player. But any sport he plays, he kind of conquers. He's played baseball, softball, football, basketball, and I've seen them all in action, and he's pretty good.
That's right. All right. Give us the long version, Dad.
All right. So I'm from born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia, 757. Okay. So I played ball growing up, junior high, middle school. I only played my senior year in high school at Maury High School in Norfolk, Virginia. Actually, I was from the graduated the same year. Joe Smith, basketball #1 draft pick. I know he's having some problems right now, but we were high school buddies, man. And so he was playing basketball. I was on the football team that year. We did pretty good. So around that time, let me see, Iverson was a junior. Michael Vick was just coming along. So I was playing high school ball in that era. I didn't go to the next level with college. I had a couple of looks, but I just wasn't focused. I didn't quite have things together, in my own head. I had the ability, but I just kind of went another way. That's another story. So I always felt like, if I was to ever have a son, I would give him everything that I felt like I didn't have growing up, because I knew what was in me. And I knew if I had a son, what was going to be in him as far as the ability to play football. Like, that's just born. Like, that's just in you. Like, I know Coach Prime talk about people being dogs. You can't coach a dog. That's just in them. You know what I mean? And it's going to show up. I mean, you can, groom it or try to, but you can't. A dog is a dog, and that is DNA. Bottom line,
that's in you. Yep,
that's what's in you. You know what I mean?
Right. And so you recognize that we're going to come back to those mistakes and how that shaped the things that you might have done with your son. Let's move to how did you guys cross paths? Because, Mom, you were born where?
I'm sorry. I was born in California, Los Angeles. My family's from Inglewood. So, and then my dad and mother moved to Banning because my dad was working for a doctor in Palm Springs. So, a doctor's office, I would say. And we moved to Banning. It's about 30 minutes from Palm Springs. So I grew up in Banning, went to school here, went to high school here. So this is where my son's from. So that's kind of stays in my heart. I mean, I know he would rather have been in Virginia, born in Virginia, but he was born in California.
Well, he still got Virginia blood in him.
He got Virginia blood. Yeah. So I'm from California.
I'm sure Pops enjoyed that California weather a little bit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I'm loving it. I've been out here for the last, how long? I've been, over 30 years now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 30 years. I moved out when I was 18, 19. Yeah. So I'm right at 48. So, yeah.
Okay. So what brought you out there at 18, 19 and then led to you guys crossing paths?
Well, basically, like I said, I kind of, as a teenager growing up, man, I kind of was making some, bad decisions and things like that. So, it just felt like my mother, sent me out here with my brother who was stationed out in the military. to come out here, just kind of get a, you know, a new, you know, if I could say, a new vision on life or whatever. So basically, you know, I came out here, like I said, to get away from, you know, Virginia or whatever, the streets, the things that I was just kind of out there doing. And actually, I met my wife actually at Bible class, which is very, you know, unique thing, you know, for me to come from Virginia, you know, get out here and kind of, you know, just trying to figure things out, and then run into my wife in Bible class. So the things just lined up perfectly right. You know what I mean? I'm always thankful to God, because I know He's put all this together. Right. You know, so I'm confident in that. You know, I live it every day. So yeah, that's how I got out on this end. I've been here ever since.
30 years out there in California, Manning, California, right outside of LA. So you guys, is Rod the only child now? So
the daughter.
So talk about the other siblings, and you know, coming up raising him as a young lad.
Absolutely. We have a daughter. She's 20. She just turned 26. Alea. That's my heart right there. She was brought up with her brother. She was very good in sports as well. And we didn't find out until about high school. She just ran for track. She did track. And my husband, Rod, was like just flabbergasted because he saw her run at a meet and was like, why didn't nobody tell her she could run? And so she was getting all these medals and everything. And I'm like, I told you where she got it from and where he got it from. So he was really excited about that. But unfortunately, she didn't get into sports until her senior year. So we didn't really, he was kind of upset we didn't really take that much time. All of our time was kind of spent with sports into my son. Mm-hmm. So he was kind of upset that we didn't take that time, because she could have went there and would have been great. But she decided to go into the Navy right out of high school. And it was probably one of the best things she could have did. She was in the Navy for 5 years, and she decided to get out and get married, and she has two beautiful kids. We have two beautiful grandchildren, a granddaughter that'll be 5 in December, and our grandson just turned 4 months. So it's just been wonderful watching both Rodrick and my daughter Alea grow, and just to be their parents. I know I speak for the both of us. It's just been a great joy raising both of them, because they're wonderful kids.
Right. And so when Lil Rod comes along, right, and you know, like you said, that going back to what you said earlier, you know that dog is gonna be in him because it was in you, and you know all you know is you just made a few mistakes. You know, I had that. Trust me, I know exactly what you mean, because I have he's be 1 year old on the end of this month, but. So I'm exactly where you at. You know, any mistakes I've made, I'm going to make sure he don't make those same mistakes. And I know he's going to have that dog in him, because I didn't ask for this dog in me. You know what I mean?
That's right.
How did you, from what age did you start trying to groom him and make sure that?
Man, LR, I call him LR, you know, LR, Little Rod. LR been since he was 6 years old. So, you know, we did the flag, and he probably get mad. I'm going to tell this story anyway. We was doing flag football. And so, you know, he was running around. Just wanted to see how he was. And, you know, they're supposed to be reaching for the flag, but I seen him run this kid down, and he didn't even tackle. He just like jumped up and did like a double drop kick on the kid. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's time for some tackle. You know what I mean? So, and 7 years old. So from 7 years old, man, to where it was legal for him to play tackle, he had been playing tackle. I mean, to the point to where I would have like little cans and stuff lined up in the front yard, like, hey, hit this hole, and have him tackling the bag as, you know, 6, 7 years old. So that's, like I said, that's just, you know, so from there up until where he's presently now. And he's never missed a season since he's been playing every football season since he was 6 years old.
Wow. See, I hope everybody's listening right there. That dog is in you, dog. He said he was playing flag football.
Yeah.
And you know, he just came up, same what he doing on the field now. I wish I had this highlight. He's just coming up out of nowhere, bam, taking out these from these other guys. So, and then, so as a young kid, he's doing that. You recognize it. What are some things that you did to make sure he stayed on that straight path, straight and narrow path?
You know, one thing, and it may not be the popular thing, you know, a lot of times, and I'm not trying to jump on parenting, but a lot of times parents try to be their kids' friends, and you have to understand there's a fine balance that's there. So I always kept my foot on his neck, if I could say it that way, to where it's like to make sure that he was doing all the proper things as far as when it comes to training, with schoolwork. You follow what I'm saying? Like, he had to have the priorities in place, and I was instilling that early because I did not want him to get down to the end and then, you know, now you're trying to incorporate these things into his character. No, I'm going to bring you up a certain way so that, you know, when you get there, it's not a culture shock, you know, when someone's asking you or demanding something of you. And, you know, the one thing I know about, you know, Rod is like, you know, I knew I pushed him harder than any other coach could probably ever push him. So I was never worried about whether they say, oh, this guy's tough coaching. And I think Coach Kelly even said, oh, you can coach him hard. Yeah, of course, because I coached him and I pushed him hard. It was love there, but I just wanted him to know and understand, you know, like football also translates to life. And man, life's going to be tough. No one's giving you no handouts. So everything we got from the mud, and we was looking for no handouts. I'm like, no, you earn it, you know? So that's why you look at even, you know, the route he had to take. And what I appreciate is the confidence in himself. And I always had a saying, hard work can't be denied. If you're putting in the work, the results will come. You know, we don't know all the mechanics on how you're going to get there, but if you put in the work, the results will come. And what happened through high school, and it was his junior year, I transferred him because his grades weren't right. And I transferred him and put him in a situation to where I'm like, if you want to go to college and you want to play ball, I got to separate you away from your friends or those who you may be comfortable with. You follow what I'm saying? So I'm going to put you in an environment to where you're going to have to go and you're going to have to focus on your grades. And so we had to fix some of those things up. And it caused him to miss his last the first 5 games of his senior year. So it took his recruiting, you know, down, because he was, Rod has always had numbers. If he's on the field, he's going to produce numbers.
Exactly.
And so what happened was, you know, he missed those 5 games, and then he had a couple like Division II offers, some NAIA offers or whatever. And he was like, I got him qualified, so he was a qualifier. And so, you know, I talked to a few of the coaches, and they were like, you know, have him go to JUCO. I always thought you had to go to JUCO if you had bad grades, but that's not the case. He went to JUCO. He was a qualifier, so it was like all he has to do is play a season, and then he's out. You know, so we'll pick him up. So that's what we did. He played that season of JUCO, and that's when Southern Utah, you know, picked him up. And
that season of JUCO was right there at home, right?
Yeah, right around the mountain at San Jacinto. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, that was tough for him too. You know, everybody just, you know, JUCO's a grind, man. You know what I mean? He was out there. He was like, Dad, these grown men with families. So, hey, you said you wanted, so we're gonna throw you out there. And I was, you know, like I said, I never doubted him because I knew what was in him and I knew what I instilled in him. You know, it's you know, Mom be nervous, but I sit there and I'm like, I don't care who you put in front of him. It doesn't matter. He's going to compete. He's going to compete at an awesome level. You follow what I'm saying? So he's not afraid of anything. Sometimes you got to protect him from himself because he's just fearless when it comes to it. So, you know, I never doubted it. And I just felt like, you know, that JUCO grind and going to Southern Utah, and then him once again betting on himself. He was a big fish at the small pond at Southern Utah. And he called me one day, was like, you know what, Dad, you know, I'm going to hit the transfer portal. I'm like, man, you're a senior, man. Like, this is it. You already the man there. You starting, you got everything you want. You know, he was like, no, I want to go and play on a higher level and showcase my skills at a higher level. And so, and of course, you know, me at this point, I'm like, well, whatever you decide to do, son, I got your back. I'll support you.
I was nervous.
Yeah, mom was nervous. Like I said,
he and grandma were nervous.
They were.
His mom.
But I
were you nervous about just getting in the portal and maybe not getting picked up, or what was?
Yeah, that too. And I was thinking the same thing that his dad said, that I'm just like, you've kind of established here. Everybody knows you. You're the big guy. You play every game. We come to the games and we can see you play. We're not seeing you stand on the sideline. And I'm like, is this something you really want to do? So I was nervous. Me and grandma were.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, go ahead, continue that, because you were going on with that. And I could see, I was going to ask, how mom felt also in that situation and going into the portal. So he's in the portal and you guys blessing him, and you say you have his back. How do you go from there?
And basically, it was funny because he thought that he had to, it was the portal deadline. I think it was like April or something. And I was like, I'm like, but I think he was a grad at the time. He was a grad at the time, so he didn't even fully understand it. So that was the one thing that did have me a little bit spooked, because I had to go and do my homework as far as how the transfer portal rules, work. So once I figured out, I was like, man, you need to go in there to the office and talk to the compliance or whoever you need to talk to at Southern Utah. And finally he was like, okay. He went in there and they was like, oh no, you can enter the portal right away. So when he entered the portal right away, I mean, within the first couple of hours, man, he was getting hits, boom, 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 boom. And it was funny because him and I was talking, and I was like, man, it would be, because we follow, Coach Prime, and we were fans of the movement, and just the players and stuff. So we was loving it. So I'm like, man, it'd be crazy if Colorado hit you up. And he was like, yeah. And so we hung up the phone, and like maybe 5 minutes later, he hit me back like, Dad, Colorado just hit me. So of course I was like, man, really? You know what I mean? Like, wow. And it was Coach Dancy. They tease Dancy about the fade. He do got the sharpest fade in the game. Coach Dancy. So Coach had hit him up. You know what I mean? So they had started correspondence, and of course during that whole time, because they had stuff going on. This was before the spring game and everything. So other colleges were reaching out to him, and I never doubted that he would get picked up, but I'm just like, I just didn't know where. As far as I was kind of thinking with Southern Utah, I mean, that was 6 hours away from us, so we could make the games, you know what I mean? So it was like, man, now you looking at some of the schools that was reaching out to him, it was like all the way on the other side of the map. So I'm like, man, like, do you really want to, look at going out there? And, and I kind of let Rod handle it. I just told him, I said, whoever's reaching out to you and they really want you, you're going to know. And I'm like, when the coaching staff asks to talk to your parents, then that's when you start taking them serious, Outside of that, I mean, because all kind of people were just hitting them up, and I met a lot of good people, man, because we had good conversations, with coaches and stuff. Anybody who reached out to my son and offered him, I made sure to have a conversation with them just to let them know that we appreciate, them even, even want to give my son an opportunity to come attend their school and play in their program. So everyone who reached out to him, I talked to and personally thanked them, whether we had committed there or not,
Right.
So, that's, right. And I told him to do that. I don't care if it's a HBCU or FCA, anyone who reaches out to you, you show them the respect that you talk to them, and, and you let them know, hey, you still early in the process, or, whatever. So, and it's funny because I told him, I said, we're going to take 3 visits, man. That's it. Because he was getting hit like a whole bunch of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, he chose Bowling Green. He chose Cincinnati, and then Colorado, and, the Bowling Green visit, it was nice. Cincinnati was nice.
Oh, I love Cincinnati.
Mom likes Cincinnati, even though that's further on the other side, though.
I'll be honest with you, and I'm just I'm gonna tell this because it's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, was we was just there, like, I think we left Cincinnati the very next day, and then we flew to Colorado.
Right.
So I mean, they laid it out pretty nice, man. Like he was going to be making like some really good, you know, NIL money. You know what I mean? From there, and this so happens. So we took the visit to Colorado, and so that night or that evening, we were at the hotel room, and you know, like I said, we talked to Coach Prime and them, you know, and the thing I appreciated about Coach Prime was the substance.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? I was like, it's the substance in it is what I'm looking for. You know, everybody say this, that, and the other, but I read people for their substance as far as who they are as individuals and as you know, people. And the thing I appreciated, you know, what Coach Prime was like, well, don't focus so much on NIL, let's focus on the NFL. You know, and he you know, talked to Rod and told him, you know, straight up, man, you come out here, you work hard, you know, and he basically he's like, hey, you know, mom, he coming here for football, you know, and the goal is to get him to the NFL. So don't focus on the NIL, you know, bag right now.
Right.
And so, you know, so we went back after the meeting or whatever. And, you know, we kind of sat and we thought about it, talked about it. And, you know, I mean, you know, when somebody throw a bag at you, I know Rob was kind of sitting there like, but that's a bag, Dad. You know what I mean? Like, and I really had to sit there and I said, well, son, what did you ask for in your heart when you was alone and by yourself in Southern Utah? Mm-hmm. What did you tell me your reason for hitting the portal was? You never said money.
Wow.
You said you wanted a bigger stage and a bigger opportunity.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So I know some people may say, oh, well, that's crazy, but that's not what he asked for. So you got what you asked for. Let's move forward in that. You follow what I'm saying?
That's excellent advice. That's great advice right there.
Yeah. So that's what we, you know, did. And it was tough for him. I mean, those you know, first 4 games, you know, standing around, you know, not being able to play, contributing on special teams, yep, and having that dog in him. And we just sitting back being patient. I'm just like, man, you listen, man, things are gonna, you know, work out for you. And you never want to see people get injured or whatever. But I mean, the injuries started happening, and before you knew it, you know, he was on the field. You know,
yep. And
you know,
he made the best of it. Of course, we've seen him step in there and do his thing. He played at TCU. I guess those are the special teams tackles with the 3 tackles. But once he stepped in versus USC, 9 big total tackles, 8 versus Arizona State, 9 versus Stanford, 6 UCLA, 7 Oregon State, producing. And you see him on the field, sideline to sideline, coming up with those hard hits, along with what seemed like to be his tag team partner, Shiloh Sanders. They need to have somebody to get him an NIL deal. Like
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And they love each other, man. The chemistry is there with them, man. You know, they love each other, man. And that's what I'm appreciating. You can start to see, you know, I know it's late, but you can see them gelling and coming together, you know, with those guys just getting used to each other and just appreciating and having each other's back. That's real. That's not talk. That's real.
That's real. Yeah. Speaking of NILs, real quick, if for everybody out there listening, everybody in the chat, if you don't know, you can check out rodrickward.com right there. If I'm gonna pull it up once again, this is his website, and it has also links where you can go and shop and get his merchandise and everything like that. You can find out about him, get some sponsorship news, see some pictures, contact him. But I wanted to ask about, this is a nice website, looks very professional. How did that come about? You know, setting up a website like this, do you go with an NIL company? Do you do it yourself? How do
Actually, I have someone who I do work with, ChristopherLafayette.com, and he actually I talked with him and told him, you know, I wanted to, you know, what I wanted to do as far as with Rod's image, as far as online presence, and he came in and did an excellent job. I would suggest to any parent or even player who's watching to definitely, you know, check him out. You see how professional it is. You know, I gave him the information and I told him, you know, how we wanted things to do. And he, you know, advised us on certain situations and things as far as wording, you know, he just did an excellent job, you know, that way, you know, it's, you know, he has a, you know, his own website. He has his own image to where he can do business or whatever, you know, online. Someone can see his portfolio, you know, the things that, you know, how we want to present him online in a professional way. Yes.
Beautiful website. Very easy to can go through it and find out exactly what you want, what you need to support him. As always, we have it up here. We're going to have it in the link below also. Somebody can put it in the chat. You guys can get on that website and support Rodrick Ward, the hard-hitting safety. I call him out of Colorado and by way of Southern Utah. You feel me? So I'm loving it. Like I said, another shout out to him. Give him the website once again that everybody need to go to.
ChristopherLafayette.com. It's actually, if you stroll down to the bottom of the website, it'll say made with, on Rod's website, it'll say made with love by Christopher Lafayette in the bottom right corner. You stroll down, they should be able to see it all the way at the bottom. If Chris is watching this, he's probably telling me he should just put it in the chat. See that heart down there?
There it is. Yep. Made by Christopher Lafayette with love. Shouts out to him.
Yes.
Very dope website. I might need to get with you myself, Christopher.
Yeah.
All right.
Really good.
Yep. Mom, let's get you a couple questions right quick. Watching him on those sidelines, those 4 games, you're thinking, dang, maybe this is the right decision, or whatever you might be thinking. Could be some negative doubt come in, but you got to stay positive and saying we're just going to stay the course because we know that the time is going to come. Dad has helped raise a dog. You've contributed, of course, with your speed and everything of that nature and your athletic ability. Tell him. Because we saw Rod chase down Dylan Edwards in a practice also, and Dylan's one of the fastest on the team, so that kind of showed Rod's long range speed right there that a lot of people might not have known. So seeing him out there just excel and stuff. Talk about some of your emotions watching the games and such from a mother's point of view.
Actually on the side, watching him on the sidelines was not a big thing to me because of course he wasn't out there getting hurt. That was my number one thing. But I also knew the character of my son and the integrity of my son. He's tough. He's tough. His skin is tough, but he has a soft heart. And I know that when he got the opportunity to show his talent, that he was going to go off. I mean, it's just things that we've seen since he's been 6 years old. You get him on the field. We have family members, friends that are just like, oh my God, he's so little. How is he hitting like that? So as a mom, seeing him on the sidelines, those first 4 games, I didn't mind it at all. Like I said, I was still in awe that we were with Coach Prime. My son was out there with Coach Prime and the coaches. And so I was just sitting there like, man, he's really there. And once he gets his opportunity to shine, he gonna shine. I just didn't have a doubt in my mind. We've seen it before. And like Dad said, it's DNA. My DNA.
All right. Well, I'm not
DNA.
I'm not here to
so I wasn't afraid at all. I was just waiting for that opportunity, and once he got it, we knew he was going off. Dog.
But I also felt those 4 games, I felt like it was also a humbling thing for him. I think he just something that he needed to just go within himself and build his character even that much more stronger. So I think it was a humbling thing for him. And like I said, I felt like that's what he needed as well. You follow what I'm saying? Those 4 games to kind of be like, okay, I got to really, focus up in here, really, get things going and to be humbled by the situation. That's why I knew once he got his opportunity, it was like, unleashing a dog off a chain. You know what I mean? I'm like, he finna go out here. I already know what's about to happen. I already knew it, And I would talk to him. He was very, very calm. It hurt him sitting those 4 games. We talked about it, you know what I mean? But we manned up on it. You know what I mean? We manned up on it. Like, we're not going to whine about it or this and that. Just keep working because hard work can't be denied, man. You can find your way out there. It always happens that way. So let's not doubt it. Let's move forward.
Okay. Okay. If you're in the chat, you can go ahead and get some questions in right now. I have one off the top of my head. Being a grad student, graduating, what was his major that he finished with?
He just did general studies because he wanted to do cybersecurity, but he said, Dad, to be honest with you, trying to do cybersecurity and football, I can't do both. So I'm just, so he got the prerequisites for cybersecurity, but he just kind of did general studies.
which is smart. And you can also always learn cybersecurity. My partner, my best friend, my cousin is a cybersecurity attorney, which is for a couple of big companies out there. So he's been trying to get. He's like, man, you can learn it tomorrow. You can learn it. You know, you just need to do it. You know how to do this. What you're doing, you know how to. You can learn cybersecurity. So I'm sure Rod will jump up on it as soon as he's done playing ball. So he'll be a professional in that. But of course, the goal is to play the next level in the NFL, right? How would that be to see him just in an NFL uniform, drafted, undrafted, or not? To just see him in an NFL uniform, you know, a childhood dream. Talk about what would that feel like?
That would be awesome to see that. I would love to see that. I know the family would. Now my dad played for the 49ers.
Hold down. Time out. How you go? How we just get all by that the dad played for the 49ers? Man,
who was it? He played 1980 to 85.
No, he played like 70.
79.
He retired at 79. He retired right before they won the Super Bowl, bro.
Right.
So he ain't got no ring. We were looking for a ring. He ain't got no ring.
I was little. My dad played for the 49ers.
Yeah, what was his name?
Robert Farrell. Number 38.
Number 38. Y'all check him out. Look at there, man. Look
Ferrell.
San Francisco.
Farrell, yeah, okay.
And it was funny because when we were in UCLA as my dad's what is it? Alumni. Yeah. So my dad went to school there. And so it would be awesome. What?
I was gonna say he was able to play at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Where UCLA plays at now. Wow, that's amazing to even find that out. So I'm sure a lot of family, as I think this picture shows right here, showed up to the game at the Rose Bowl.
No, we was at least
50, 42.
That was at our pocket. At our tailgate party.
Yeah, at our tailgate party.
So we was probably about 70 people all together, family that was out there. But we all couldn't tailgate, you know, together. So everybody was kind of spread out. But all together, it was about 70.
Yeah.
70 deep out there. Goodness gracious.
I thought you put us on the well-off video because as the bus was coming in, we was in the middle of the street with the flag, like in front of the bus, like, you know, deep. You know what I mean? Rod said some of the teammates was like, yo, man, your family out here deep, bro.
Yeah. They probably still got the footage somewhere. It got so much footage, I'm sure, that they might, you never know, they might drop it on a documentary. That's I should have plugged that. That's coming out. I think it's December 6th, the Coach Prime thing. I'm sure everybody's gonna be watching that because as Mom mentioned, you used to watch which one you used to watch when they were at Truth Universe, at Truth the Youth League, the one you used to watch, or was it the JSU?
The JSU. The JSU. Okay. I knew about the other ones, but I really kind of got into it with the JSU because I would, you know, come in and catch Rod on it and I'll just sit there and be watching and talk about it.
Yeah. Nice, man. So real quick, talk about either some family morals that you instill and some things that you can share with other families that maybe, you know, might be raising a young athlete or just a young child in general that can help them be, or even myself, be a better parent out there.
Well, raising two kids, it's not an easy thing. Not even raising one kid is not easy, but I think once you put God first, number one, and just the discipline that we instilled in both of our kids. We didn't really have to beat our kids. I know a lot of people use the whip and chain, but we really didn't have to with my daughter. Was like, you look at her and if I say I'm gonna tell dad, it was like she straightened up right up. Now Rodrick LR, what we call him Lil Rod LR. It was a little tougher with him because he had a, I wouldn't say a mean streak. What would you say? Because you had it. It was something in him that he had to have something to calm him down because he was very, what's the word I'm looking for? So we put him in sports. I'll say that because
that's that dog, that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It was something that once he didn't get his way, it was just like this rage in him. I'm like, we got to get something tame him down. And once we put him in football, and if we ever mentioned that we would take that away or take his game away, his PlayStation away, it was like he straightened right up. So I think as a parent, putting them in some kind of sport or activity that would keep their mind just always focused on something and not idle. I know the generation that we're in, a lot of them are on their phones, they're on computers, and like the web is raising our kids. And that is like something that I'm glad we didn't have to go through, because back then they didn't really have phones and computers for them to go on social media like that. So I would tell parents, put them in a sport, put them in an activity, put them in a club, a reading club, a book club, something to keep them focused on just living life. I mean, I know it's gonna be hard, the world we live in right now, but that for my son, that was one big thing, and it helped us out so much with discipline. If he didn't have the right grades, he couldn't play football. If he didn't go to school, he couldn't play football. If he didn't do things around the house, we were like, you can't play football. So, and football was pretty much his, like, if I don't, I got to play football. So that was one of the things that we kept in front of him, and just being consistent as a parent, being there. I know for us, we both worked. So it was hard being there for the kids as we're working and stuff, but being consistent, going to football games, going to track meets, going to award shows, showing that consistency that you're there as a parent to support your kids. I think that's a big key. Kids love consistency. Yeah. I have a daycare that I run, and I have a schedule that we go by. And if we don't go by that schedule, the kids are like, wait, what's going on? You know what I mean? So, because being consistent and having a pattern that you go by, I think it would help out a lot of parents with discipline and just being there for their kids. All they want you to do is be there and be consistent.
Yeah, that's the thing, to chime in or ducktail in on what she was saying. The key to it, I feel like, is just spending time. A lot of times, like she said, you gotta live, you gotta survive. But a lot of times kids just want time spent. It's not so much as me going to get you everything you want and just spending money on you, or spending this or spending that, or spoiling them. It's really about just spending time, to really spend time with your children, and be there with them, be there, for them. That's the key, just spending time, because once again, we were both working. I'll tell the story. I know she probably would wonder whether or not I would express it, but I did end up getting injured from work, end up being, disabled, and, what looked like a curse at the time, ended up being, a blessing, to where I was able to spend the time, with both of my children, to be there with them, to answer questions, to be there with whatever they needed, so it looked bad, but I mean, think about it. I was able to, coach my son from 6 years old till he was in a senior in high school. I was able to be there, for my daughter, the whole time, her going through high school, whatever. So yeah, I would say the key is spending time. Don't let the internet raise your children. Spend time with them. That's the key.
Major, like you said, you can be there to answer those questions. And shouts out to Father Figure Apparel, who always say, be present, not perfect. Right. Like that. So shouts out to them on that one. And yes, that was a blessing. So you can be able to be there, because just to coach your son, oh man, and to be there for your daughter, to ask those questions, to be that strong figure that I'm sure you are, that I know you are, that you've exhibited so far, man, that's major for everybody out there. Y'all hear that? It's time. He didn't say he bought something for his kids, or mom didn't say she bought something. Oh, it's time. And that's what everybody and all the kids are out there looking for. It's time to be with your kids. So I hope that we were able to give you guys some insight on being a prime parent right now, for everybody listening out there, no matter where you're listening in from, Put it in the chats. Let the Wards know where you're listening in from and where you've been influenced from. I'm sure it's late everywhere. It's kind of like one of those late kickoffs that we had. It's a late Colorado kickoff. Maybe you're up to 2 o'clock in the morning to watch this one, wherever you're from. But we appreciate it. Anything y'all want to leave us with, you want to add on, go ahead and give your shots out or whatever. Family members, hometown, websites, anything like that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll shout out my daughter. We've been talking about her a lot. She's been there, man. Oh man, I think she's one of her brother's biggest supporters. Her and her husband Jordan, and his parents have been, man. I mean, it's just amazing how much love we have, support that Rodrick has. I mean, people coming out the woodworks, like, and it's not people that's like, oh, I wonder if he gonna make it to the NFL. It's people that's been there consistently and supporting Rodrick since he was 6, and even before he was in my womb. I mean, it was people just there. My sister Tia, my sister Tiffany, my sister Nishayla. It's just so many people that has been there. My aunts, my uncles, grandparents, my parents, Rod's parents. And I will say, Coach Shelton. Coach Shelton has been there consistently. He
Rod's
coached
freshman coach. We close together with that.
Yeah,
Rod was a freshman.
I mean, Coach Shelton and Miss Tanya, his wife. I just appreciate them so much. I mean, so much love out there for my son, for our son, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm not a big crier. I do a lot of my crying in my pillow where nobody can see, but I mean, it's moments like this to where, I mean, Maisha, Antoine, Chris, my cousins, Aronde, Letty, Auntie Deidre. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. My grandma Marie. I mean, and my grandma, she just turned 88, repping her great grandson.
Yeah.
She got all the family got the jerseys. They like, we don't care. Tell us how much we got to get. Where we go? He number 29. I mean, my cousin Tonette and her son, Tyree, he just, for the UCLA game, he just came to my house and bought t-shirts and hoodies with my son's picture and his name on the back. I mean, it's just been amazing. The family support that we have is like no other. And I mean, family is important. And when you don't have nowhere to go, family is there. And I love it. I love it. I'm absolutely just, I don't even know the words.
I know one thing. I can't let you guys out there. I got to ask some questions. Maybe I should did it a little backwards. Let me ask some questions from the chat real quick. I saw a couple come through about which.
I love you, girl.
Which did you grow up, Mom, as a 49ers fan, and what was your favorite team?
Well, no, see, I wasn't really into football like that. My little sister Tiffany is diehard San Francisco because Dad is San Francisco. I was married into the Steelers, so I am a Steelers fan. So yeah, I didn't really have a football team like that. Yeah, Dad played for the 49ers, but I'm a Steelers girl.
Good way to convert her, Dad. Way to convert her, Big Rod. When did you become a Steeler fan?
It's funny, man. I was born and raised a Steeler fan. I was born in 1975, and they won the Super Bowl that year, and I was a baby, man. So my dad was diehard Steeler, so that's all I've ever known. It's just been Pittsburgh, you know.
That's great. A Steeler fan, and I'm telling you, Rod plays like a Steeler. I'm sure that would be the team you guys would want to see him play for. The Steelers right there.
I wouldn't care who he played for, man. Long as he make it and he playing, I'm fine with it. And yeah, the Steelers, of course, you know, but it don't matter who he played for, man. I just want to see just to see that journey, you know, and have him to be able to make it to what he set his goal out for. And what I hope that it does is give hope to another kid that, you know, that's out there that's dreaming and wanting to, you know, get to the league and maybe that get a chance to go to a so-called Mater Day or St. John Bosco or, you know, some of these big school programs, you know, to be able to come, you know, so-called out the mud and get it done, you know. So that's how I want his story to be, is like, hey, if you believe and you work hard, you know, you could get to that level. And all you need is an opportunity. Just as long as there's an opportunity there, make good on it, and you'll be just fine. So that's what I want his story to be to any kid or anyone else he comes in contact with in life. You know, what they say.
That's the story on the recording studio.
We'll talk about that later on. It's about Lil R right now.
About LR right now. I like that name too, LR. I like that nickname, LR. Right.
I will say that I'm not saying that because I'm his wife. He makes really good like beats.
It's about LR right now. It's about LR right now.
Hey, Big Rod, you gotta holler at when you're done, man.
Oh, say we gonna talk on something else, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I need some intro beats, need some background beats. You know, I'll tag you in there. You know what I mean? Shouts out to you though. The studio looks good back there. I like to see you buffs hanging up also. Got some people checking in from B More, giving love. Also, let me see. Great interview. Thick Vegan said. It's Jay said Pittsburgh Steelers in the house. Great interview. Any other questions coming through, guys? Y'all let us know before we let them up out of here. But y'all make sure y'all support RodrickWard.com. This is on Prime Parents. We have his mom and dad checking in straight out of Banning, California. That's my first time hearing about Banning, California. That's near San Bernardino.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We like 20 minutes east of San Bernardino.
Okay.
It's called the IE. We're in the IE, so it's San Bernardino, Riverside. Oh yeah, we right there.
Okay. Yeah. How is that considered? How is the football out there? Should I say? Is that in the area where St. John Bosco is them?
No. You know, St. John Bosco and Mater Day, that's gonna be up closer toward, you know, LA, Orange County, you know, area. You know, so we're down here in the IE, you know, Inland Empire.
Empire.
Yeah, a lot of, you know, the bigger schools, the heavy recruits was always taking place, you know, up that way. And the guys down here never really got good, you know, like solid looks, you know. You know, maybe somebody may come through and check a JUCO, you know, maybe the Desert or San Jacinto, but it just wasn't the look. In the high school here, you know, it's not like that. That's why we was out there coaching. You know what I mean? Be like, hey, look, listen, at the end of the day, you know, yeah.
Makes sense. Have you guys been able to experience games at Folsom Field, and how has it been, and what other games have y'all experienced?
Oh man, let me see. We've been
Texas. We went to Texas TCU.
We went to TCU. We did Nebraska.
You did.
I did Nebraska. The third game was Colorado State. We didn't go to that one. The fourth game was Oregon. I went by myself to Oregon. I flew to Oregon.
And your cousin went with you.
Yeah. And then the fifth game was SC, right? Yes. So we flew to Folsom for SC. After the SC game was Arizona State.
Cool.
Was it? Yeah. I think.
Oh,
yeah. That was in Arizona. Yeah.
It was in Arizona, right?
Oh, yep, Arizona State.
Yeah, so we drove to Arizona. We did that game. The next game was Stanford. We didn't do that game. And the reason why, too, and I'll just share this, I gave tickets to other people, like the Stanford game. It was Rod's junior micro coach. That was from when LR was like 7 years old. I gave him tickets to go. You follow what I'm saying? To go. And then I think for the Colorado State, LR may have let some of his teammates have tickets or whatever for the Colorado State. So that's why we didn't do the Stanford game. I let his childhood, you know, one of his coaches go. And then the next game was so after Stanford was was Abide in UCLA, which we were there for UCLA. Who they just played, Oregon State. We didn't make it because we're headed out this Friday, headed for Arizona because I'm headed to Colorado, Folsom again because it's senior day.
Yeah, right. Okay. So how you guys like Folsom? How's that been? First experience?
I love the atmosphere there.
The scenery.
The scenery.
Absolutely beautiful.
That was one of the things I asked Rod. I'm like, man, how does it feel? You know, because I got to kind of live some of that through him too. I'm like, how does it feel, man, when you run out that tunnel and you just the vibration, the noise? I'm like, you know, because I know you've never played in a stadium with that many people, you know, and he was just like, Dad, I love it. I love every bit of it. He was like, you know, you can, you know, just feel the vibration and the energy. And he was like, I love every moment of it. You know, this is what I've been, you know, dreaming about. This is what I've been fighting to be able to do. So no moment is too big for him. You know what I mean? So he loves it and I love it. I mean, it was surreal to look on the big jumbotron and they're announcing him, you know, Rodrick Ward and starting lineup. It just was like, whoa, wow. You know, like this is really good.
And now my daughter, their first game was the UCLA game. Yeah. Because she had just had the baby and now he's old enough. And this will be her first Colorado game this Friday. Good. So we're all flying out on Friday, her and her husband and the baby. So this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, you definitely want to get a feel. If anybody's out there, you definitely want to catch the feel that Folsom feel. It's definitely a great feeling, great atmosphere. I love it.
The campus, I mean, the architect, I don't even know the word.
Architect.
The work with just all the buildings, the buildings are beautiful.
Yeah.
And even the school alone, the field, it's there, even their locker room. I'm like, whoa, this is wonderful.
Yeah, the locker room.
Stay?
Nah, that locker room like a club. You don't want to stay. They get it turned up in there.
Yeah. They even have a barber chair and a pool table.
It's nice.
It's really nice.
Hey, that's a quote right there. The locker room like a club. That's
a quote. I'm glad he was able to experience that kind of stuff. So even though this is his last year, I mean, he'll have some great memories with Coach Prime, and that's all we wanted.
Right. Those memories in that relationship also.
Right.
And you said it's not about the NIL, not about it's about the NFL, but it's also about those relationships, those lifelong lasting relationships that he can always lean on now. Kind of like brotherhood.
Brotherhood,
yeah. And so he can always call on Coach Prime and that whole staff.
Yeah.
With their vast resources and him being a stand-up guy, high character guy, obviously, he's going to always have somewhere and somebody there in his corner for him, definitely.
Right.
So I think he made a great decision to come to Colorado. Last question, is there any significance behind the number 29 that he wears?
Well, he and this surprised me because actually Darius interviewed him on one of the on his Reach the People interview. And so first, Rod had always said, that was his first number that he got when he went to Southern Utah. That was his first, when he was, playing Division I, they gave me number 29. So he kind of, went with that. And then, as things went on, he progressed to number 3. But then he went back to 29, and he said because of the safety from the Chiefs, I think it was Eric Berry, and he talked about how Eric Berry was number 29 and how he had overcome cancer and some obstacles or whatever. So he just felt like, wearing 29, he thought about, Eric Berry and like, that's a good number to wear. And I didn't think, you would think, you say Ed Reed or Palomar, you try to go out to one of those numbers, but I thought it was just substance in him to go to Eric Berry or someone who's overcome, something with cancer and then come back and play the game and be successful. So I think, that was just turning in Rod's mind is just overcome because he's had to face obstacles that have to be overcome. And I think that's the significance of the 29 with him is being able to face obstacles, look at them and overcome. And I think it was inspired by Eric Berry's story.
Wow. Amazing. Pick the number and then inspirational story by another great guy, Eric Berry. Shouts out to Eric Berry out there. And that hopefully everybody listening out there, hopefully this can give us insight into the mind and upbringing of Rodrick Ward, senior grad transfer safety out of Southern Utah University by way of Banning, California, man. Thank you to his parents, Miss Tanya and Big Rod Sr. for coming through and sharing their story and their backgrounds and speaking candidly to me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to make sure I do what I got to do to get me some beats from Big from BR. You feel me? Anything else you guys got to say before we get out of here? Thank you guys once again, though.
I just want to thank you for having us, man. Like I know it's a lot, a lot of shows and stuff out there on, online, but I keep up, with you as much as I can. I just want to thank you for having us on. And I've seen even when, you spoken up for Rod, even when, I know people got their opinions or whatever, but I've seen, you speak up and give your opinion on how you felt about him and his play, even when he wasn't playing, and how you felt about him and, you having an eye for that talent, And it was something that you didn't know I was looking at your videos, but I'm like, I know when you said that from the heart. And I appreciate that, as far as having his back where he don't even know. And I told him, you got love out there. You got people out there that support you that you don't even know about like that. So I just want to thank you and let you know we appreciate that. That's real.
That. Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys 100%. I'm gonna get off here before I blush on camera too much. I appreciate you.
Shout out to Rodrick's grandma Jackie. Love you.
Grandma Jackie. Yes, yeah. 80, is that 88 years old, right?
No, well, that's his godmother, but LR calls her grandma.
Okay, all right.
He's been there. Yeah.
Shout out to the whole family out there. I'll put up this picture one more time with just half of the crew that came out and supported. They were about 70 deep, they said.
Yeah.
So, major support for Rod Ward out there. Looking for him to do big things in the game coming this Saturday. We're rooting for him as always. This has been another edition of Prime Parents. Thank you guys once again to the Wards. I'm Chico to the C and the place to be. Big Dog Chico. I'm up and about to say thank y'all very much.
I'm a big dog. What about you? Big dog status every time I fall through. Big dog money. Big dog chain.